My tool storage situation is getting a little bit out of hand, so I built this small cabinet that I'm going to put in my workshop to get everything all organized. I'm testing out making these cabinets with 1/2 inch plywood with a 1/4 inch backing, and I made a cut list of all the plans I need for this build. Now all the cuts I have organized are in this plan list here. The 17 by 12 pieces will make up the sides of the box, the 8 by 12 will make the top and the bottom, and the rest of the pieces I have on the side make up the drawers for the build. And I'll be left with a bunch of offcut pieces, so that's what I'll use to make the rails for my drawers and then other stuff I want to add to my cabinet. Now I have all the pieces I need to assemble this small cabinet. So the small 8 by 12 pieces are going into the dado. Unfortunately, I didn't have a router bit smaller than 1/2 inch, so they're a very snug fit. I'm probably gonna have to use some glue and clamps to get it to stay in place. But now we can just assemble each piece one by one, and our cabinet is almost done. So this is just a dry fit that I made sure that everything was fitting in correctly. I actually didn't put the backing in just yet. I wanted to see at first if I needed the backing or not, but just in case I have the option, I did cut it out in the end. So for all the pieces to fit together, I decided to cut rabbets on the edge of the pieces so I can have my 1/4 inch backing sliding in the back. So I ended up getting a new router bit, and this is a 1/2 inch template router bit from Whiteside, and I'll know for sure I'll be using this in a lot of my projects in the future. Now gluing all these cabinets together made it really easy with these 90-degree corner clamps I got from Hardell. It was just a small buy that I got on Amazon a long time ago, and building cabinets made it super easy with these, so I definitely am going to try using these again in my future builds. So they've been sitting the clamps for the last 3 hours. I'm gonna finally take off the clamps, and I decided not to put the back piece in for a couple reasons. First reason, I measured it wrong and I actually cut it a little bit too short, so it doesn't exactly fit. I do have a spare one just in case this happened because I know myself very well. And I actually decided to not use that backing at all. I decided last second to actually make a drawer. Originally the cabinet wasn't supposed to have the drawer at the top, but then since I messed up the backing, I was like, you know what, I have a lot of offcut pieces, let me just use those and make the drawer. Now with everything cut down to size, just foreshadowing a little bit here, I decided to do a little test clamp up using my corner clamp system that I have, just to make sure everything is fitting okay, and to get some final measurements to make sure that the drawer fits together. And then before even testing it in the cabinet, I decided to glue it up. And I was so excited because I finally got 90-degree corner angles, but you'll see later on that I made a big mistake. Now, I was just going through my offcut piles again, and I decided to put some rails in for the drawers so I can slide. I didn't want to get drawer slides just for a small little shop project. This is not going to house anything too heavy, so just making wooden rails in the cabinet should be perfectly fine for me, and it's not going to support a lot of weight too, so I don't really have to worry about it buckling over time. And it was at this point when I realized that, oh, my drawer doesn't fit in the cabinet. So right now I'm taking my circular saw and my old straight edge, and I'm just cutting a 1/4 inch off each side of the drawer to make sure it fits in the cabinet. I actually measured the size of the cabinet, and the drawer is the exact size of it, not the size of the drawer should be inside the cabinet. And now with a proper test fit, and you can see the drawer fit, so I decided to clamp on the front edge and then add the little knob at the top, and this is my shop cabinet all done. Here it is, the final cabinet build, and actually it turned out really well, even though I messed it up about 6 or 7 times. I put a little knob on the top drawer just so I can open it easily, and I'm going to store router bits inside of it, and if I want I can build out a whole row of these to hold all my tools, but this was just a test project, and now that I know how to do the build, it should be a lot easier doing the second ones. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.